Hello students. So we are going to discuss your mathematics JEE paper that happened on 17th July. It's a very straightforward paper. Some questions are a little on the higher side, but majority of them are quite straightforward. So let's get started. Okay. The first question is a very simple one. They're asking the domain of this function. I think we have also discussed this in the class. So we know that the fractional part of x will be a graph like this. This shape will repeat. So this is 0, 1, 2, minus 1. So why is this the fractional part of x? Because what is fractional part of 0.5? It is 0.5. Fractional part of 0.9 is 0.9. But fractional part of 1 suddenly becomes 0. That means fractional part will go on increasing, and at 1 it will come back to 0. Again, between 1 to 2, it will go on increasing, again come back. Same shape repeats on the positive and negative side. So this is a prerequisite to solve this question. So now, whenever you get a root, all we have to do is we have to use wavy curve method. That means you factorize this. And when you factorize this, you will get 2 fractional part x minus 1 into fractional part x minus 1. This whole thing should be greater than equal to 0. Matlab, fractional part, the roots using wavy curve, the roots are half, 1. So on the right side, it will be positive, negative, positive. So that means fractional part of x should be greater than 1, or fractional part should be less than half, right? Greater than 1, greater than equal to 1, or less than equal to half. But we know fractional part can't be greater than 1, so this is meaningless. So fractional part should be less than half. So this is, let's say, half. So less than half, that means this portion, right? Which portion? This portion, and this portion, because here it is less than half, right? So, and this portion. But in the question they have given x belongs to minus 1 to 1. So between minus 1 to 1, we have only these two portions. Now, how do I know what is this portion? That's very easy. That means between minus 1 to minus half, right? Minus 1 to minus half. And then this portion is 0 to half. And then finally, you can also put x exactly as 1, because when you put x as 1, fractional part is 0, and that means fractional part is less than half, right? So the right answer is option B. Going to the 62nd question. We know this property whenever you have mod of 1, greatest integer of 1 plus x is simply 1 plus greatest integer x, right? So when we use this property, first term you can split into 2, second term also, third term also. So finally you will get answer as 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to n plus greatest integer sine x, greatest integer sine x by 2, like that, right? So you'll get this way. Now, 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to n. What is the answer for this? The answer for this is n into n plus 1 by 2. Now, sine x. We know that sine x uh, can lie between, they're saying x belongs to 0 to pi. That means x is in the first quadrant. So if x is in the first quadrant or second quadrant, right? If x is either in the first or in the second, that means sine x is positive. So when sine x is positive, greatest integer sine x will either be 0 or 1. Why will it be 0? Because sin x is usually some 0.5 or 0.7 like that. Uska greatest integer is 0. And when sin x exactly becomes 1, then greatest integer is 1. Right? So that means all these terms can either be 0 or the first term alone. If I put x as pi by 2, first term will become 1, but rest all will become 0 because sine 45 and all is less than 1, right? So if I put x as 90, sine 90 is 1, but 90 by 2, that is 45 degree and all, is less than 1. So either all terms will be 0 or one of these terms, generally the first term, or even second term or second term also. If you put x as pi, then all terms will be 0 except second term. So the whole idea is in that greatest integer series, only one term will be 1. So the answer is n into n plus 1 by 2, comma, n into n plus 1 by 2 plus 1, right? That will give you n square plus n plus 2, right, by 2. So these are the only two options. So it is option D. If they had given 0 to 2 pi, then sin x can also go to minus 1, right? And when it goes to minus 1, then even the n, when this goes to minus 1, then you'll get option C also, if it is 0 to 2 pi. If the question is 0 to 2 pi, then the answer will be option C. 63rd is a direct question. So if I want this to be defined, I want both terms to be positive. So that means in which quadrant is cos x positive? In first and fourth. How do I write the first and fourth quadrant? It is nothing but 2n pi minus pi by 2 to 2n pi plus pi by 2. Because fourth quadrant, right? First quadrant means up to pi by 2. Fourth quadrant means up to minus pi by 2. So why do I add 2n pi? Because irrespective of number of rotations. So this is the final answer. So when you take LCM, you'll end up getting option D. Next, we go to 64th question. So 64th, the way to solve this, very simple. Use the transformation formula. Sine 1 plus sine 89 will give you sine 1 plus sine 89 will give you 2 sine a plus b by 2. Andre 2 sine 90 by 2. Andre sine 45. 2 sine 45. And cos 88 by 2, which is 44. ಅದೇ ತರ sine 2 plus sine 88. That will also give 2 sine 45. But cos 43, like that. So like that, every term will give 2 sine 45. You can pull that 2 sine 45 out. So you'll end up getting 2 into 2 sine 45. Then you will get cos 44 plus cos 43, like that, up to cos 1. Isn't it? So you'll have 44 terms, and then the 45th term is only sine 45. So because you have pulled out sine 45 common, I'll not pull out the 2. I'll keep the 2 inside here. So what I'll do, I'll pull out sine 45. So 2 is still here. 2 cos 44, 2 cos 43, up to 2 cos 1. And last term will be just sine 45. But because I pull out sine 45 common, you'll be left with only 1 here. And if you now see, numerator has 2 cos 44, cos 43 up to cos 1, and then plus 1. That's exactly what the denominator is. So that will get cancelled, and you'll be left with only 2 sine 45. And sine 45 is 1 by root 2. So 2 into 1 by root 2, answer will be root 2. So we go to the next question, 65th one. They're saying x1, x2, x3 up to xn are in AP. So whenever this type of AP related questions come, the method is first we write secant. I'll only show you what we need to do for the first term. Same thing you'll have to redo for other terms also. Okay. So first term ge secant anna cos x1 into cos x2 anta baritini. And the sine alpha, I'll bring it here. Now alpha is the common difference. So how do I write common difference? I can write common difference as T2 minus T1 or T3 minus T2. But in the first term, I will write it as T2 minus T1 or X2 minus X1. But when I'm multiplying for the second term, that time I will write alpha as X3 minus X2. Okay, that's obvious, right? Because denominator has X1, X2. So here also, sine alpha I'll write as x2 minus x1. Now use the formula sine A cos B minus cos A sine B. So you'll get sine x2 cos x1 minus cos x2 sine x1. So when you simplify, you'll end up getting tan x2 minus tan x1. That is the first term. Similarly, second term will be tan x3, isn't it? Minus tan x2. So you'll get tan x2 minus tan x1 and tan x3 minus tan x2. So you'll see all terms will get cancelled except tan 1, the smallest value and the largest value. So what will remain is minus tan 1, and then you'll see plus tan n. So tan n minus tan 1, that alone will remain. Now the tan n, you can write as sin n by cos n minus sin 1 by cos 1. So again you use the formula when you cross multiply sin A cos B minus cos A sin B. So sin of A minus B divided by cos 1 into cos n. So that's option A. This is again an easy question. Let's move ahead. 66th question. When they say minimum vertical distance between these two graphs, it means 2 plus sin x minus cos x should be minimum. That means sin x minus cos x must be minimum because 2 is a constant. Why minimum vertical distance, Andre? It's like one graph is here, another graph is here. So when you subtract them, you get the distance, right? Vertical distance. What is vertical distance between two graphs? Just difference of the y coordinates. So subtract both the y coordinates. You'll get 2 plus sin x minus cos x. That function needs to be minimum, which means minimum value for sin x minus cos x we have this formula directly. Root of a square plus b square is the maximum, and minus root of a square plus b square is minimum. And a and b are 1 and 1 here. So 2 minus root 2, that is the answer. It's a direct question. The 68th one. The roots are given here, right? So now an interesting property, you see, sum of roots. Sum of roots is minus b by a. But now, if I try to write this as 1 by sine square plus 1 by cos square and take LCM, I'll end up getting 1 by sine square into cos square, which is simply cosecant square into secant square theta. So what does that mean? In this quadratic, sum of roots is equal to the product of roots, because cosecant square plus secant square eventually simplifies to cosecant square into secant square. So that means minus b and c should be equal. So the right answer is option C, because here minus of minus 5 is plus 5 and c is also plus 5. That's an easy question. Let's do this. They have given A union B is 24. So that means using one diagram, I can say all the regions put together is 24. And A intersection B bar, that is the left region. Left region is 9 and right region is 10. So because A union B should be 24, this has to be 5. Then only you get 24, right? Now they're asking how much is n of A cross B. So how many elements does set A have? Set A has 9 plus 5, 14 elements. And set B has 15 elements. So 15 into 14, that's 210. Next, they're asking us the domain of R inverse. So first, let's write the relation R. If I put x as 0, y can be plus or minus 1 or plus or minus, only plus or minus 1, right? It can't be 2 also, because if I put 2 and if I put x as 0, y can also be 0. So 0 plus or minus 1. Similarly, when I put x as 1, y can take only 0 or plus or minus 1.